diffuse. Trade fights for better views. We both need something new. Maybe we should just tell them.
Hello, hive-minded readers, and welcome to the Books and the Bees podcast. Just like bees play a crucial role in pollinating flowers and sustaining life, books pollinate minds and nurture the soul. We see the connection between the two, the delicate dance of ideas and stories that enrich our lives.
I'm Hailey.
And I'm Cody.
Welcome to our podcast.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Welcome, welcome.
We're like, we're just doing that every time we start.
No, we totally are.
That's like our unofficial intro.
It is, yeah. It's like the song after the intro song, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's much worse than the intro song. Oh, God. Hailey, how's it going?
It's going. It's been a little bit of a rough week over here in my neck of the woods.
Yeah. I think all of our listeners can probably agree that it's freaking hot.
Yeah, it's freaking hot.
I don't know. I think the whole U.S. right now is just cooking. Probably the whole, summertime world, you know. Yeah. Northern Hemisphere, for all of our out-of-the-U.S. listeners. But, yeah, it is cooking here.
Cooking.
And I hate it.
It's scorcher. Like, I think yesterday and the day before, it was like 106, 105, something like that.
Yep.
Today it's only in the 90s, but, like, it feels hotter than 90 something, honestly.
Yeah, we peaked at 104 today, and it was 108 yesterday.
Ugh.
It was rough.
That is rough.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but like, or our listeners, but where I'm at, it's like hella dry. So I'm just like constantly battling like dehydration at any given time.
Yeah. No, it's a super dry heat where I'm at.
Yeah. It's just so bad.
It's like you walk out and you immediately feel like the SpongeBob episode where he's like dried up. That's what I feel like the second I walk outside.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, it sucks.
Exactly. So accurate.
But in contrast, I will say, when I go to a humid location, I struggle so bad for about like a week, and then my skin turns this beautiful, like, healthy shade, and I feel like my lungs can breathe better.
Yes.
And then I come back to the dry place that I live, and it feels 10 times worse. So at least, I don't know, at least we're not doing that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like a lose-lose. After living in both climates for, like, a, extended period of time, I'm just like, I don't want either, to be quite honest. No, humidity's a bitch. It's the worst.
Unless it's like 60 degrees, then it's beautiful. But
no, springtime has bad weather too, with like tornadoes and shit. But
okay, yeah, that's definitely not good.
But like, given the like, if it's a nice spring day, yeah, it's perfect. It's so nice.
Yeah. It sucks. It sucks for sure.
Yeah, my heart goes out to anyone that's dealing with this horrible world roasting heat.
Yes, please take care of yourself and drink a lot of water, and don't go outside during the heat of the day for sure.
Yes.
Hopefully you have AC. I hope you do, or can go somewhere with AC, because ain't no way in hell you want to have no AC right now.
Yeah. What a perfect time to, say, go to your local library, maybe? It's free.
Exactly.
And
they have AC. Guaranteed.
Yeah. You can just go sit down and read a book, and maybe, I don't know if you're allowed to have drinks or anything in libraries anymore, but
I think
bring, like, a water.
Yeah. Quit your job. Just go to the library.
Just go live in the library.
Yeah, just go live in the library. Yeah.
Become one with the library.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I hope the listeners are wondering, how am I supposed to read in this blaringly horrible hot heat? And I want you to know that we have answers to your problem today. Today's episode is about summer reading and how to combat it and live with it, because I think it's harder to read in the summertime than it is any other time because of the heat. It's terrible.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So look forward to that. But before we jump into it, Hailey, do you want to talk about what you're reading?
Yeah. So I went to Target, unfortunately, but not unfortunately, and maybe or maybe not bought some books. So I started Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood.
Is that her latest one?
I don't know if it's her latest one, but I know it's a recent release for sure. It's a beautiful cover. Shame on you, Target, for putting your damn stickers on your damn books.
Yeah, I hate those freaking things.
I once again had to carefully peel it off and still managed to take the print off with it. So,
did you try my trick? You should have tried my trick.
I know I should have, but I didn't think about it at the time. I was just really excited and really wanted to get the sticker off, and then I forgot.
That's fair.
Yep. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, I literally just started this book, though, so I can't really say much about it, other than it's probably going to be good, because I love all of Ali Hazelwood's books, so.
Yeah. We're both a big fan of her.
Yeah, she's an amazing writer, honestly, and, she just writes romance so well. But I did finish, and I think I mentioned it, a few episodes ago, but it's called Mercy by Sara, Cate, and it was fabulous. It was such a good read. It was a romance in the kink world, kinda. I say kink world loosely because it's set in there's kink themes, and they spoilers, there's a sex club that a group of the characters own together, and it's discussed, but I don't want to I'm not in that world, so I don't want to use the wrong terms or say yeah, it's totally accurate, because I don't know. So but yeah. I mean, I guess if any of our listeners are happen to be in that world, feel free to correct me. I don't know. And maybe you heard that or read that book, or maybe you want to read that book and see if it's accurate. Go for it. But it's really good. Definitely a 5 on the honey scale for sure.
Ooh.
It's real spicy. There's a bit of an age gap that occurs, and it's the woman is older in this one, so wow. It was interesting, and she's in her mid-30s, or I think mid to late 30s, something like that, and then the male main character is younger, early 20s. So that was interesting. That was an interesting dynamic, and yeah, it was really good, and it was dual POV.
I love that.
And yeah, and really well written, honestly. So yeah, if our listeners are into that, or maybe want to check it out, feel free.
Yay! They both sound really good.
Yeah. What are you getting into, Cody?
Well, so I just came back from a trip on the coast, which was much cooler than where I'm at now, and I'm frustrated that I'm not there right now. But I read this book while I was there. It's an arc for a book called Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks, and it is a contemporary romance about a girl who moves to Ireland to basically restart her life after her husband dies, which is not a spoiler. It's in the back of the book. And she meets her neighbor, who happens to be a funeral mortician, basically. And she, unbeknownst to herself, moved right next door to a funeral home in Ireland. And there's a little bit of a love romance, of course. Very good novel. I finished it in about 2 days. It's super, super easy, fun read. Very funny. Both characters are just so different. It's also dual POV. The main male character, the mortician, he's very much shy, introverted, doesn't talk to anybody, totally obsessed with his work. He's running a family-owned, like struggling with my words today, family-owned funeral home, and his grandpa passed away, and one of the clauses in his grandpa's will was you need to get married in order to continue on the family funeral home. Otherwise, your dad's going to get it and he's going to sell it to another company. So he has to get married within like 6 months. And the main female character just had her husband pass away. And so she was moving to get away from all that trauma. And she's convinced to never remarry again because of certain things that happen that I won't talk about for spoiler reasons. But it's just a really great book, super funny, very emotional too. I would say there's definitely spoilers, or not spoilers. There's definitely content warnings for this book, and they are mentioned at the beginning of the book. So check those out if you are concerned. And there's a lot of disability representation as well. So the author actually has a disability, and the main male character has a stuttering disorder, and so there's a lot of good disability rep. The main male character is also identified as aromantic. I believe demisexual was the specific term that they used, and so we love having the demisexual rep. And I totally recommend it. It comes out August 20th, and it's really, really good. I super enjoyed it, and I think most of the listeners with the hive mind are going to love it too.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, you would like it a lot too. Hailey. Yeah. There's a lot of like Irish terminology too.
Oh, that's cool.
And there is a pronunciation sheet
nice.
so that you know how to actually pronounce the Irish phrases really well. It's a super great book. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, just finished it in 2 days. It was so good.
Yeah, I love when authors do that. Like, shout out to authors that put like pronunciation type stuff of any sort in their books. We love to see it.
100%. Yep. So the other book I'm reading is very different. It is Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker-Martin, which I've talked about. I think I mentioned it a couple episodes ago. And this is basically about a conversion camp in the 90s where all of these queer kids get sent to by their terrible parents. And they go through a very weird situation, a supernatural situation, I think is the best way to describe it, and are basically trying to fight it. It is super pro queer community, super pro LGBTQ. There's a lot of trans rep. The author is a trans author. Most of the main characters are trans, and it's very intense, I would say. So the content warnings for this book are incredibly severe, and I highly recommend checking them out because there's a lot of content warnings with this. But Gretchen Felker-Martin is writing really good horror right now. Her last book, Manhunt, was one of my tops of the year when it came out, and I'm pretty sure Cuckoo's going to be the top in this year too. So really, really good. I'm about, I think, 70% through it, and I can't wait to dive into it more because it's just super intense and interesting.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like it'd be a good book too. Wow.
Yeah,
both
and it's
good books.
Yeah, and it's a good summer book because it happens in the summer too. I don't know why that's a good book, but
it's
we'll
on brand. It's on theme.
Yeah, it's on theme. Yeah, I love a themed reading for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, check out those books. They're good. All 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So should we jump into beekeeping?
Yes.
Well, we have a lot of beekeeping today, considering we haven't had any in the past like 3 weeks. So
I know.
The biggest news with beekeeping is we now have a Goodreads page, which is super exciting. It's called Books and Bees Podcast. You can't miss it. It's going to have our logo. As soon as I forgot to tell Hailey I need the logo because I don't have it saved on my computer, but it has our logo. And all you have to do is you can follow us. You can be friends with us if you want to. But we also have a Goodreads group, which is like a community where you can post various discussions. We can talk about various topics, and you can share pictures of what you're reading and all that stuff. So it's a very cool community, and there will be a link in our show notes for that, and also on our Instagram page. So feel free to click that link and to join. It's open to everyone who listens. Please be respectful. If you're not respectful, then we're going to kick you out. But other than that, you're totally open, and we highly recommend you check us out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. So yeah, join it. Join it.
Do it.
And then I guess another big beekeeping news is that we have a co-read for August that we've picked out. It is called An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. We're going to read it for the month of August, and I don't remember the synopsis completely, but I'm pretty sure it's like a vampire romance.
Yeah, I can look it up like super duper quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just says, so the description's a sumptuous and addictive. An Education in Malice is a dark academia tale of blood, secrets, and insatiable hungers from Sunday Times bestselling author S.T. Gibson, author of the cult hit A Dowry of Blood. Deep in the forgotten hills of Massachusetts stands St. Perpetua's College. Isolated and ancient, it is not a place for timid girls. Here, secrets are currency, ambition is lifeblood, and strange ceremonies welcome students into the fold. On her first day of class, Laura Sheridan is thrust into an intense academic rivalry with the beautiful and enigmatic, it's a $5 word, Carmilla. Together, they are drawn into the confidence of their demanding poetry professor, De La Fontaine, who holds her own dark obsession with Carmilla. But as their rivalry blossoms into something far more delicious, Laura must confront her own strange hungers. Tangled in a sinister game of politics, bloodthirsty professors, and dark magic, Laura and Camilla must decide how much they are willing to sacrifice in their ruthless pursuit of knowledge. That sounds so good.
That sounds really good.
It's like been a while since I've taken a look at the book, but man. Yeah,
we've been talking about it behind the scenes for a while. And we've just been busy and not being able to do it, but I've been super anticipating reading this book. I'm lucky I've been able to hold off reading it, and I can't wait to start because I think it's going to be amazing. So we're going to read for August. We haven't figured out, I haven't gotten the book yet, so we haven't figured out like the breakdown of how we're going to do it, but pay attention. Now's a good time to put it on hold if you want to, and we'll start it for August.
Yes, and I will take a look on Kindle and see if it's free on Kindle Unlimited. And then obviously, as always, maybe if you're a new listener or just as a reminder for our current ones, anytime that we do these co-reads, I do post, once we figure out the schedule, I do post our schedule on Instagram. Now with the last co-read, it was a little less and not as by the book because we kind of just fell off.
We did.
But yeah, if you want to keep up with the pacing that we're on, I do the posts on Instagram. There we go. So make sure to follow us there if you want to know more about that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we try to make sure everyone knows the schedule, so we will make it apparent.
Yes.
Cool. And then the last book beekeeping that I have is I went to 2 bookstores on the coast. Went to the Oregon coast last week to take a little bit of a vacay. And I went to a used bookstore. Well, it's kind of a mix. Used and new called Godfathers, which was a really cool bookstore. Hailey, you would love it. It was half bookstore / witch store. So it had a lot of witchy stuff, tarot cards, incense, all that stuff. And then the other half was a coffee shop.
Oh my gosh. Perfect.
And it was really cool. I didn't get coffee because it was freaking hot there. Even on the coast, it was very hot and humid, but it was a really cool store. I think I got 2 books there, and then I went to another one called Beach Books in Seaside, Oregon, and I got 2 books there as well. One of them being Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker-Martin. So super super great books and a lot of fun. So if you're in that area or going to that area, check out those bookstores because they're great.
Hell yeah. That sounds literally right up my alley. And I would love to, could you imagine working in a bookshop like that? That'd be so fun. Yeah,
it was a little much for me because I don't do well with incense. The smell is really rough for me. So I think I only spent probably about 10 minutes in the store, but it was very cool. I had a very cool vibe. My wife got a couple stickers there. I bought my niece a book there because she went with
nice.
us. So yeah, it was a good place. Good place to go for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any beekeeping, Hailey?
So, I mean, as I already kind of previously mentioned, I got the, and actually, it's called Check and Mate, not Checkmate. I just looked at the title like a dumbass and read it. But, so yeah, I got that one by Hazelwood, and then I keep seeing these books, and I saw them the last time that I was there, and I was like, wow, this kind of look really good. But, I finally picked it up, and it's called, Pestilence, by Laura Thalassa. I don't know how to pronounce the author's last name, but apparently it's like a play on like the Four Horsemen, and Pestilence is the first one, and yeah, it's like a little bit of a geek when it comes to like the Four Horsemen. I think that lore is like so interesting, and whenever there's like that theme in any like media of any sort, it kind of hooks me. So yeah, I was like, I'm gonna pick this book up, so hopefully it's good. We'll see. That's
cool. I love that. Target, I never go to Target, so I always forget they have books. That's such a good place to go, though.
It is. Yeah. The only reason why I like, well, and also the fact that like where I'm currently at really doesn't have a Barnes & Noble very close or like a good bookstore. Although I will say there is a traveling bookstore that goes around in my town and like kind of all over the like county area. Yeah, so it's like a converted like trailer type of situation, and it's like literally a traveling bookstore. So like they'll post, I'll send you the Instagram, because if I say it out loud, I will literally give away like the city that I live in, and I do not want to do that. So, but off air, I will send you the details.
Sorry, listeners,
really
you don't get the deeds.
Yeah, you don't get to know where I live. Sorry. But sorry, not sorry. But yeah, it's really cool, and it's kind of a newer concept, at least in our area anyways. But yeah, they'll like post on their Instagram like kind of their schedule for the month, and then you can also like go meet them like by appointment, and they will like essentially open up their little store. And they're also at like, like events and like that sort of thing. So it's really cool and interesting and a really neat idea, I think. And they don't just sell, only books. They also have like little trinket type things that are bookish. But yeah, it's really cool. So I've been meaning to check that out. But all that to say, I do frequent Target because A, they have good discounts, usually the 20% or whatever. And then B, I just don't really have a good bookstore to like go on a whim. Yeah,
we have one that's indie that I also won't say the name of because it will definitely tell people where I live. And it's a good bookstore, but it's the parking is kind of a pain in the butt. And so we kind of avoid it because of that. But I do usually when I pre-order a physical book, I do it from them because I can just run down real quick, pick it up, and then leave without having to like worry about parking.
Yeah.
But yeah, indie bookstores are great. I love the idea of a traveling cart bookstore.
Really cool.
Yeah, I read a book. I'm trying to see if I can find it on my shelf. I don't remember what it's called, but it was a lady who was starting a traveling bookstore in Ireland, and it was a romance book, and it was pretty good. I liked it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it's one of my wife's books, I think. Maybe I'll look it up at some point. But yeah, it was really good.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of cool, we have suggestions for how to read in the summer. Because reading in the summer is a task, for sure.
Yes.
Because it's hot. It's freaking hot.
It's hot. And usually, like, I don't know about you, but I am usually fairly busy in the summertime, like, despite me, like, kind of becoming a hobbit and, like, a cave-dwelling troll in the summertime because it's far too hot to go outside to do anything. Like, I I'm like always either like friends, like I have lots of birthdays, lots of like events that happen during the summertime, like every year in the same, like, you know, calendar date. So it kind of feels more busy, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that's true. I didn't think about that when we were coming up with the idea for this episode, but yeah, you're right. People are usually pretty busy over the summer, so it is harder to get that reading in.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we have some suggestions, and some of them are a little bit in contrast with each other, but that's okay because, you know, different strokes for different folks. Is that a weird thing to say on the podcast?
I don't think it is. I mean, shit, we talk about sex books. I think we're okay.
You're right. Okay. I'll leave it in. Yeah. So, Hailey, do you want to start with what is your first suggestion?
Yeah. Be inside.
That's
Don't
it.
go outside.
Let's just be inside.
Stay in your cave like me and don't go out.
Stay in the AC for sure.
Yeah. No, seriously, like I genuinely, and I know that this might, like, maybe for if you know me in like real life, like I'm, even though like my birthday's in the summertime and like I love like events and that sort of thing, but there's summer is not my jam. I literally hate the heat so much. I am not a summertime girly. I am a winter, fall girly. I thrive in the cold. So the idea of like sitting outside and having to read a book as I like profusely sweat just sounds literally like the worst time ever. Which is really funny because I feel like back in the day when I was younger, summertime was my jam, but that's because we were kids and like, you know, summertime was really the only time that we had free time.
So true.
So, you know.
Also, I'm convinced that kids don't sweat.
Yeah,
like,
truly.
Or they don't care. Like, because I do not remember sweating as a kid. I remember just going out, having the time of my life all summer long and having no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, the amount of times that I used to go outside and like sit in the like 90-degree heat and read books for hours, and it's just like, okay, whatever. Like I'd have my grapes, I'd have a like cold drink, and I would just sit there and read forever. Or I'd sit, like, my grandparents had a pool many a summer. She and I would literally lay out on the pool decking, and we would just sit and read, like, before we'd go and get in the pool at, like, 10 a.m. before it got super duper hot. And we would just, like, lay out and read for hours, and then we'd get in the pool, and then we'd go under the shade, and then we'd read some more. Like, you know, I just can't do it anymore. I really can't.
Yeah. It's different for sure. When you're a kid, like, you just don't feel it the same way.
Yeah, you really don't.
No, you don't. Well, I will contrast this with my first suggestion, which is to read outside, with the caveat of reading outside safely. And what I mean by that is when I'm reading outside this time of year, I'm reading out in the morning and typically next to a body of water. Like, we are lucky enough to have a river running through the city that I live in. And so I will go down to the river with my hammock and I'll sit there and read. And then I'll like dip my toes and my feet into the water to, you know, cool off and keep chill. It's a little bit risky if you're nervous about your e-reader or your book getting wet. But so far I haven't had any problems. Fingers crossed, knocking on wood. You know, reading out in the morning can be really nice, especially if it's like, you know, we're in a desert climate, so it's pretty relatively cool in the morning before it gets really hot. So, you know, check out those morning reads if you can, and maybe get outside and read in the shade for a little bit. Because I do like reading outside. And I'm just like you, where like once it turns hot, I'm definitely done. Like, I'm not going to be sitting out there with 90-degree weather. But, you know, in the mornings it can be really pretty and you can hear the birds chirping and all that stuff. But you definitely have to be safe. Definitely bring water and sunscreen and stuff like that to make sure you're not going into problems. And yeah, at 100 degrees, there's not much to do outside that's very safe. So yeah, the be inside is a good point.
Yeah. Well, and with reading outside, you know, there's lots of like tips and tricks, you know, like instead of just drinking water, which obviously drink water, don't ever not drink water, but like make it an electrolyte type water, because your body needs electrolytes to survive and to rehydrate. You know, maybe bring a snack just so you're not hungry, and also wear your sun protection, not just sunscreen. Like bring a hat, like a big hat, some sunglasses for sure, protect your eyeballs, and you know, maybe wear some like light clothing. That always helps. But yeah, if you're next to a body of water like the ocean or a river or a lake that you can go to, like that is peak reading. At least for me, I love reading next to water. And it's usually like, you know, when you're at the water shore, it's usually like 10 degrees cooler than where it is anywhere else. So, you know, if you're able to do that, that's a good place to do it. Or like a really nice park in the morning where there's a lot of open space and trees that you can sit under. Like that's really good. But yeah, definitely be safe out there for sure. So yeah. Hailey, what is your second tip? My second tip, I'm gonna have to go with get a light read. Keep it simple. You know, I feel like there's a lot of good books coming out, and you know, these like huge series get hyped up, and you know, maybe they're like a fantasy series. Save that for like the winter time, okay?
Yeah.
If you can, if you want, like to each their own, but. For me, I'm not reading. You'll never catch me reading these like huge fantasy. You're not gonna catch me reading something like Throne of Glass in the summertime. Like, no. That's a wintertime read where we sit inside. Honestly, I'm always inside, so whatever. Same. But I find that because of the busyness that is summertime, for whatever reason for me, especially for those of us that like, you know, especially if you're working, where your work doesn't really stop like in the summertime, shout outs to the teachers that get to have summer off. Like, y'all are kudos. That's so rad.
So true.
Like low-key jealous. But you know, the busy time, keep it simple. Keep those you know, if you read 100-page book, that's still reading. If you read, you know, maybe you want to like crack open a graphic novel or a comic book or you know, short under 300 pages read, or maybe you just want to like read a chapter or two of a book. Whatever, short, simple, nothing too heavy. Keep it light. Keep it light in the summer.
Keep it light.
That's my tip.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. And I'm gonna follow up with that because I totally agree. That's my next tip too. Is I love to read rom-coms in the summertime because like they're super light. You don't really have to remember a lot of things. And no offense to the rom-com like community, like I'm saying this is a perk. Like, yeah, you don't have to like remember 15 different characters and the world. Like you can just walk straight into the book and just jump into it. And it's great in the summer because you might not be reading for as long because of the heat, or, you know, if you are reading outside, you're probably not gonna be reading outside for 3 hours. You're gonna be reading outside for like an hour. So those rom-coms are really good because the chapters are usually a little bit shorter, and it's just easier to jump into and jump out of if you need to. And so yeah, I love like the Morbidly Yours. That was perfect for the summertime read because it was super casual. A lot of them take place over the summer, I've noticed, and so you kind of feel like you're reading along with the characters because they're going through summer the same way you are. And so yeah, like, you know, get out there and check out those romances, those contemporary rom-coms, because they're perfect beach reading.
Yes. That's such a good tip. I think that's a fabulous one.
That's also my travel tip. Like, if you're traveling, I say get one of those books because they're super easy to jump into when you're on a plane or whatever.
Yeah, and I've noticed that more airports have more, like, contemporary type romance. Or, you know, that sort of... You don't see too many, like, fantasy novels in the airport, like, little bookstores, so...
That's true. Have you also seen the little bit of a tangent, but most airport bookstores have a program now where you can read a book and then return it within like a period of time, and you get half off your next book.
No, I haven't seen that.
I've taken advantage of it a couple times. Now you do have to travel within the time period, so it's a little bit of a gamble. I think it's like 8 months maybe.
Okay.
And not all airport libraries or bookstores do it, so make sure you check. But I know mine does, and a lot of the ones that I've gone to in the last couple of years have done it. And yeah, it's a great way. You buy a book for like $16 if it's a paperback, and then you turn around and get 8 back on your next one. So
that's really cool. I didn't even know that was a thing. I do see a lot of authors when they're traveling, like going to book signings or whatever, they will like stop in those airports and like sign books. And I hope that one day we get to see, like, I want that to come to fruition for myself, because that would be so cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, I see people do that with, actually, another tangent from our tangent, but I saw an author got in trouble for signing books at Barnes & Noble because technically that book is not owned by the author, and so it is like damaging property or something.
Wow.
Yeah, they ended up like not charging them because obviously it's bad PR to like get mad at an author for signing books, but they
your own author.
there was a thing about it that was like,
dang.
I know.
That's crazy.
It was. I don't remember the name of the author, and I don't know if I would mention it on the podcast, but yeah, it's a little weird. But
that is weird.
I love just random authors coming in to sign stuff, though. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, one of my beloved authors that I enjoy all of their books, Emily McIntyre. She's always like signing books in like random bookstores. So I think she asks though. I think she will go and ask the like staff, be like, "Hey, is it okay if I like go sign these?" And obviously they're like, "Yeah, duh." But like, that's crazy that like an author got in trouble for that.
Yeah, and maybe it's because they didn't ask, but.
Yeah, maybe, but who knows?
I don't know. It's also really popular now to have like book plates where it's like pieces of like cardstock that you stick inside the book instead of actually signing the book. I know a lot of authors do that and just like put them into the books as they go. But I kind of like the signed book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hailey, do you have another tip?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes along with, like, the be inside thing, but, like, maybe go find a good coffee shop. My number one rule kind of is, like, if it's local, like, try to find, like, a small mom and pop coffee shop. That rhymed. And also it'd be a great, coffee shop name. Anyways.
I was just thinking that, actually.
Mom and pop coffee shop. What a perfect.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Don't steal that idea. Haley's going to use it.
Trademark. Copyright. But no, I think that like throughout literally any time of the year, but like specifically in the summertime, if you're trying to beat the heat, you're trying to freaking not sit outside and like, you know, profusely sweat. Maybe you have some time to kill, or maybe you're like on vacation and you just want to like go to a coffee shop and read. I don't know. But yeah, go to a coffee shop and sit there. Obviously, like, buy something. Like, don't just go to a coffee. Don't be that person who just goes into a coffee shop and, like, even if you can just be like, hey, can I have a water? Like, you know, if you're, maybe coffee's not your thing, or maybe, you know, you don't have a lot of money or whatever. But, like, for the most part, try to support your local business. It helps them. It helps you. You get to get out of the heat. You get to have a nice, like, cool place to sit and read a book, and usually they're quiet. I think coffee shops are truly like the unsung heroes of like places to go that are really good vibes for reading. So
yeah,
obviously besides like libraries.
True. Yeah, I tell you, I love that suggestion. I actually did it the other day. Went in, it was in the morning, so it was still pretty cool outside, but went in to my local coffee shop that my wife and I have kind of discovered recently. And I had a coffee and a bagel, and it was amazing. That
sounds so nice.
Yeah, it was really good. It's peak summer right there, honestly.
Truly peak summer. Yeah. Like, a vacation day, and you, like, go and just like a late start morning and you go and like get a nice little treat yourself moment. There's truly nothing better.
No, it's so true.
And I feel like we kind of like luck out a little bit being in the Pacific Northwest because there's truly like a plethora of coffee shops literally everywhere. At least I don't know about like maybe your town, but my town is riddled with coffee shops right now. Literally us moving, also tangent, so sorry. Us moving in the like 2 years that we moved away and then came back, there's probably like 20 different like new coffee shops that have sprang up out of the blue that you're like, when did this get here? But it's good. I like it. I love coffee shops and I like coffee, so
yeah, we have quite a few, probably not as much as you guys do, but
there's a lot
we have definitely got a few, and they're all pretty good. I'm a big coffee drinker. My wife is more of a, I like the caffeine, not the coffee part of it. But yeah, there's this one place, they even make their own mugs, like ceramic,
I love that.
like pottery mugs, and they're beautiful. I love them so much. Yeah, it's a great place. And there's even one that's a coffee shop / beer like bar.
Oh.
And so you can go in, you can get coffee or beer. I think you can't drink. I don't think you can buy beer before 10 a.m. where I live, but you can just go in there and have a coffee and a beer if you want. And it's pretty fun.
That's so interesting. There was, sorry, so tangenty, but there was a coffee shop that me and my husband went to recently this week. And I had probably like the best Earl Grey drink I've ever had in my entire life. It was like Earl Grey, like raspberry lemonade and like blackberries in it.
Damn.
It was so good. Like so good. And it was like refreshing but light. Oh god, it was so good.
I love Earl Grey. I love Earl Grey.
It's so versatile.
It is. Yeah. Especially with citrus fruits, like
Yes.
or like berry fruits. I don't know if berries are citrus. I don't think they are, but they're good. They're really, really good.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So I think the other suggestion that I have is also what you can read during the summer, because I'm a mood reader. So like if it's hot, I want to read about like summer vibes, or like if I'm in summer, I want to read about summer vibes. If I'm in winter, I want to read about winter vibes. And there's nothing more exciting to me than reading about summer horror books, especially if you're camping. Like if you are a camper, like I am, there's nothing better than reading about a camping horror book. It does scare the shit out of you, I can tell you that right now. But it's really fun. Like just matching what you're doing with what you're reading, I think is a super hot tip year round. But there's a lot of camping books that obviously take place over the summer. So if you're like out in the woods or thinking about going out to the woods, pick up one of those books. Pick up a summer book and just enjoy it. Or even like a nature book. If you want to learn more about birds or whatever, pick up a book like that and just enjoy it while you're out there looking at birds or whatever.
Hell yeah. I always forget about those books.
Yeah, I read one. It was really good. It was called Slow Birding, and I forget the author's name, but it was all about birding in your backyard, and it was really, really good. Like super helpful for people who want to learn how to be a birder. And that's a perfect summer book, like because she had a list of books or birds to look at in the summer. It's like, cool, all right, got it.
Those are all really good tips, I think. Like solid.
Yeah. You should all take our advice, and you'll read 100 books over the summer.
Yes, exactly.
I remember when I was a kid, like in between the school years, I would come up with a list of books to read, and it would be like 100 books, and I would get through most of them, I swear.
Yeah.
Like I would just have a stack of books, and they were always like, I don't know, Magic Tree House or like Boxcar Children or whatever, but man, that was just so much fun as a kid doing that.
Yes. Listen, those Magic Tree House books like really got me through some summers.
Oh, hell yeah. Like the Animorph series was like peak reading at my age when I was like, I don't know, between like 4th and like 6th grade. Everybody was reading those books, and I read so many of them over the summer. Oh man. Yeah. So good.
Yes, I I read those, and also the Boxcar Children. Those books are like hella old, but really good.
They hold up. Like they're
Yeah.
super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, very good books, and I really loved. Oh my gosh, the girl detective. Oh my god, what is her name?
The girl oh, like Nancy Drew?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Those books, loved those books. The Babysitter's Club. Okay, I'm just aging myself at this point.
Yeah. No, the Babysitter's Club was good.
It's so good. And yeah, I got really into the Aragon series one summer.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was like 6th grade.
Yeah.
5th grade, 6th grade, one
Totally.
of
It
those
was,
grades.
yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I killed through my AR reader list in the summers. I just was like slinging out books.
Oh my god,
You know?
it was intense. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they'd be like, oh, if you read this many books, you know, I was like, on it. Got it. No problem.
Yeah, same here. I was like always slamming through AR. I hit my goal like so early on in the year. And a lot of times it was like Harry Potter was worth so many points. It was crazy because almost everybody was reading them too. So like everybody got their points because they were all reading Harry Potter. And
and we'd all talk about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
man, those were fun days.
Those are such fun days to live a life where the like most worrisome thing you have to worry about is what books you're going to read during the summer. Oh my god. Sign me up.
No kidding.
Like, what a life.
What a life. Cool.
Yeah, so
well,
good.
yeah, so good. You know, those are our summer reading suggestions. You should let us know what you think. Like, what do you do to get through the summer? Because we all love reading. I think it's a consensus among readers that it's harder to read in the summer. We could be wrong, I guess, but I think it's a consensus. So, you know, let us know what you're doing. Like, how do you get through? Because we're all trying to beat the heat. That's the name of the game.
Yes.
Until we get to fall, which is the real peak horror season. And, yeah, peak reading. Well, if you want to let us know how you enjoy reading in the summer, you can email us at booksandthebeespod@gmail.com. You can also social media with us at booksandthebeespod. Is that a verb?
Yes, it is now.
You can social media us at booksandthebeespod. And you can also, if you feel up to it, give us a review. We'd love to hear what you think of the podcast on any podcast app that you're using right now. Feel free to give us a review because we would appreciate it. It helps us get more listeners and grow the hive mind. So we love it.
Absolutely.
And if you need a jam to listen to, you can listen to Rendezvous by the American Indie. It is a bop. It's the intro and outro of our song, and it is very good. I have listened to the full song many, many times. I've listened to the first 30 and last 30 seconds like 100 times. But it's really good. So I'm not complaining.
It is really good.
It's really good. Thank you for letting us use your song, The American Indie. We appreciate you. All right, Hailey, do you have anything else to say before we wrap up?
No.
Okay. Cool.
Everyone's staying safe out in the heat.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this literary journey as much as we did. If you're buzzing with excitement, don't forget to subscribe, email us, and leave a high 5-worthy review on your podcast listening app. Until next time, happy reading, and may your shelves be filled with tales as enchanting as a blooming garden. Keep the buzz alive, and we'll catch you in the next chapter. Bye for now.
Bye.